Let us introduce the Indian Association for Democratic Socialism or ADS. This is an ideological platform engaged in building a progressive society. Meet the founder, Comrade Pradeep Bose, nephew of Netaji Subhash Bose. These are the portraits that adorn the walls of ADS, Office, New Delhi. Dr. Ambedkar, Nelson Mandela, Birsa Munda, a tribal freedom fighter, Willy Brandt, the Nobel laureate, and the Social Democratic Chancellor of Germany, Mother Teresa, Olaf Palme, Social Democratic Prime Minister of Sweden. A road is also named after him in Delhi. Bruno Kreisky, Social Democratic Chancellor of Austria. And finally, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. Now, let us take you around the office, the meeting hall. This is used as a drop in center for socialists, the studio, where discussions are recorded on progressive themes, the workstation, and finally, the director's room. Now, let us see what is social democracy. Let's watch a video made by FES or Frederick Ebert Stifton.
This is Juliana. She's a politics student. Together with her flatmate, Marco, she's talking about social democracy. Marco only had a rough idea about it until now. Juliana explains to him that social democracy is based on three fundamental values: freedom, justice, and solidarity. Freedom means that every individual should be able to decide how he or she lives. The state and society should not interfere arbitrarily. In terms of financial security, education, and social opportunities, every individual can live this freedom actively. Justice means initially that in the eyes of the law, everyone is equal. Irrespective of where he or she comes from, his or her family background, and his or her sex. But justice also means that Juliana and Marco are given the same opportunities as everyone else, and their achievements and requirements are taken into account. Solidarity is about everybody being willing to help each other. It's the glue which holds society together. However, these values are still not precise enough to derive concrete rules from them for how to live in harmony. This is why social democracy is also based on the two human rights covenants enacted by the United Nations, which apply in numerous countries. Marco knows that there are both negative and positive civil rights and liberties, but what's the difference? Juliana explains to him that negative civil rights and liberties are protective rights which protect him from interferences. Positive civil rights and liberties make it possible for him to be able to practice his civil rights and liberties. Libertarian democracy requires negative rights and liberties to be given priority at all times. Positive rights and liberties are only assured when they do not impede negative ones. In social democracy, positive and negative rights and liberties are taken equally seriously, as without the positive rights, some people would also not have access to the negative ones. Juliana explains this, taking the negative liberty, freedom of opinion, as an example. Marco has the right to speak his mind freely. To be able to practice this right, he must have the opportunity to develop his own opinion. This is why education is important. This is a positive liberty and is financed by all citizens by means of taxes. In other words, a small interference in the right to own property. In this way, the positive and negative rights and liberties complement each other. Marco has discovered a completely new side to social democracy. Now he wants to learn more and will be speaking up for his interests more in the future. After all, democracy needs Democrats. Further information on the topic from the FES in the Social Democracy Reader No. 1, Foundations of Social Democracy by the Academy for Social Democracy. Everything from, at and with the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung. Division Political Academy, Division for International Cooperation.
Now we talk to the Secretary General who is engaged in promoting social democracy in India. I'm talking to Professor D.K. Giri, the man in charge of ADS. So, Professor, the first thing I'd like to begin with is what is ADS?
ADS is an association of progressive thinkers and activists from across the country. The full name is Association for Democratic Socialism, acronym ADS. This was created in 1979 when the Social Democratic Party led Janata Party fell from power. Some of the socialists thought that to keep the ideological flag flying, we should have an association where socialists from across the parties, institutions, and various organizations can interact and be engaged with. That is how it was created.
Thank you, Professor. How does ADS work? How do you operate?
ADS is a non-party ideological political platform, or you can say a multi-party platform. It works mainly in research, advocacy, and projects. Projects are of the nature of discussions, orientations, and then seminars. These are our projects. We are in the business of generating ideas, assessing, formulating policies, critiquing them as well. That's what we do. And we work through a wide network. India being a vast country, we'll have to reach out to different segments of people in various states through our networks. And we work on the basis of networks, both nationally as well as internationally.
Right. So you talked about networks, and one certainly needs them in a vast country like India and to connect with the international progressive community. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, our networks are socialist organizations, socialist civil society organizations, academic community, student unions, trade unions, and even professionals. For instance, amongst trade unions, the Hind Mazdoor Sabha has been a socialist organization from the word go. And there are organizations in various parts of the country. In Karnataka, there is Samajwadi Adhyayan Kendra. In Calcutta, there is a Center for Democratic Socialism. In Orissa, there is a Samajwadi Bicharo Kendra. Organizations like that, they are all are part of our networks. And internationally, we are a part of a global alliance called Progressive Alliance, where political parties, institutions, researchers from across the world collaborate. And that is headquartered in Berlin. We are in the steering committee. We are also part of Social Democratic Asia. We call it SOCDEM Asia. Again, running out of Manila. And our youth wing is a part of the International Union of Socialist Youth, which is running from Vienna. So we are internationally as well as nationally very well connected through our networks and by being members of various coalitions and alliances.
Thank you, Professor. That sounds very fascinating. And lastly, the note I'd like to end on is so, what are the unfinished tasks that you must still be doing? In other words, the dreams, missions that are yet to be accomplished.
That's a good question. And in life, there are always many unfinished tasks. One would like to do quite a few things, dream a lot of things. Someone said it is free to dream, but the journey that you undertake for the dream costs. So, we need resources, we need goodwill support to do many things. But the one aspiration is to see an egalitarian, harmonious, and a stable society in a vast, the most populous country in world like India. So that's our dream, to have a society which is based on equality, people having freedom, based on the spirit of solidarity, um, driven by pluralism, and various identities are respected. So, which are the cardinal principles of social democracy. So, you would like to see a society where everyone is happy and where everyone respects the other, and a society where caring and sharing become a norm. That's what we would like to see.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.